we need to modify the touchesMoved method to detect when users slice penguins and bombs. The code isn't complicated, but it is long, so I'll split it into three. First, we'll start with the structure. So we'll find touchesMoved. Here it is. And just before the end, we'll start our new code. We'll say, let nodes at point equal nodes at the current location. So tell us all the nodes that are under their finger right now. Next we'll say, for node in nodes at point, if the node name is enemy, awesome, we'll destroy the penguin. Else if node.name is equal to bomb, we will destroy the bomb. It's either going to be this thing or this thing. If it's anything else, we don't care about it. Now, in terms of destroying a penguin, we'll make a particle effect of the penguin. We'll clear its node name so it can't be swiped again and again. We'll turn off isDynamic so it doesn't carry on falling after it's been swiped. Instead, we'll make it scale out and fade out at the same time. Once that's done, we'll remove it from the scene, add 1 to the player's score, get it out of our active enemies array, and play a sound so the player knows they hit the penguin. So, inside here, we destroy the penguin, we'll say this. First, if let emitter equals skEmitter node, using file named slice hit enemy. If that worked, awesome, the emitter position is our node position. And add that to our game scene. If we're here, we'll say node.name is empty, make it no longer marked as an enemy so keep on getting scores for it. And we'll turn off its physics by saying physics body .isDynamic is false. To scale things out, we're going to go ahead and make a group using skaction.group. We'll say let's scale out equals skaction.scale to 0.001, really tiny, over 0.2 seconds, so a fifth of a second. And fade out is skaction.fade out with duration 0.2. The same thing we used when we were making our slices fade out. Now we want both those things to happen at the same time. This is not a sequence, it should happen simultaneously. And to do that, we use skaction.group. This takes an array of actions to execute at the same time. So I'll say let group equals skaction.group of scale out, fade out. Both those things happen at the same time. We're going to wrap that group inside a sequence. So it'll do the scale and fade out simultaneously. And when that finishes, it'll call remove from parent on our node. So we'll say let seq equals skaction.sequence with an array of our new group plus .remove from parent. So run that group first and then destroy the node. And finally, we'll run that on our node. So make the penguin fade out, scale out, and then be removed. Next, we'll add 1 to the player's score by saying score plus equals 1. Then we want to find where that enemy is in our active enemies array and remove it. This takes a bit of thinking. Let's try and write some example code, see how this might work. We'll say if let index equals active enemies dot first index of our node. If that works, we'll say active enemies dot remove at that index. That's how we might try and write it, but it's not happy. And it's not happy because this thing here is an SK node inside our loop. We're looping over all the nodes we found at the point under the user's finger. And our array of active enemies is an SK sprite node array. So it can't convert that there. And we could do a force cast if you want to. It's perfectly safe here. We could say fix and get as SK sprite node. That's fine because we have node name is enemy. That's fine. We could do that if you want to. As an alternative though, we could instead use the same for case let syntax we've seen previously. Up here we have for node in nodes point, and we check for our enemy node, which is the penguin sprite, or the bomb node, which is another sprite node. So we can actually use for case let here to do our typecast for us. So we'll modify our loop up here to say for case let node as sk sprite node. So now it'll only enter the loop if the node it finds inside there happens to be an sk sprite node. And with that small change, the compiler error has gone away. We can now say, give me the first index of that node safely. Finally, we'll play a sound so the user knows I've hit a penguin. We'll say, run on our main scene, skaction.play sound file named whack.caf, and do not wait for completion. So you've now seen the two ways of collecting SpriteKit actions together. That's groups here and sequences here. An action group specifies that all actions inside it should run simultaneously, whereas an action sequence runs them all one at a time. In the code we just wrote, we have a group inside a sequence, which is common. Now if the player swipes a bomb by accident, they lose the game immediately. This is going to use much the same code as destroying a penguin, but with a few differences. The node called bomb is the bomb image, which is inside the bomb container. So we need to reference the node's parent when looking up our position. Changing the physics body, removing the node from the scene, and removing the node from our active enemies array. First, the node called bomb is the bomb image, which is inside the bomb container. So we need to reference the node's parent when looking up our position, changing the physics body, removing the node from the scene, and removing the node from our active enemies array. Second, I'm going to create a different particle effect for bombs than for penguins. And third, we'll end the game by calling a method called endGame, which we'll write a simple placeholder for now. Func endGame. Nothing in there for now, we'll come back to that shortly. So let's go ahead and write the code for destroy the bomb. The first thing we'll do is try and read out the bomb sprite node's parent, which if you remember is also a sprite node, not an sk node, it's an empty sk sprite node. So I'll say guard let bomb container equals node.parent as sk sprite node, else continue. So if we can't read the node parent as a sprite node, just bail out immediately, go to the next item. Next we'll say if let emitter equals sk emitter node with the file named slice hit bomb, slightly different. If that worked, awesome, emitter position is equal to bomb container dot position, and add that to our game scene. If we're still here, we will clear out the node name again so we can't hit bombs more than once. And we're going to go ahead and disable physics on the bomb container, not the picture that was tapped. So we'll do bomb container dot physics body .is dynamic equals false, like that. We need the same scale out, fade out, group, and sequence as before. So I'll take this code from up here, scale out, fade out, group, and sequence, all those things, and paste them down here. Below is dynamic false. Except now we'll run that on the bomb container. So we'll say bomb container dot run that sequence. We're going to find that in our active enemies array and remove it using the same code as before. We'll say if let index equals active enemies dot first index of bomb container, then active enemies dot remove at the index. Make our explosion sound, which will be using run on the main scene, skaction.play sound file named explosion.caf, don't wait for completion, and finally we'll call endGame to end our game. Now before I walk you through the endGame method, we're going to adjust the update method just a little bit. Right now, if a penguin or a bomb falls below -140, we remove it from the scene. We're going to modify that so if the player misses slicing a penguin, they lose a life. We're also going to delete the node's name just in case any further checks for enemies or bombs happen. Clearing the node name will avoid any problems. So first we're going to find our update method, which should be way down here. Big project, there we go. You can see, hopefully, here, there we go, boom. That's the code that looks for the position Y below -140 and removes from the parent. If node position Y is less than -140, fine, that's all good. I'm going to temporarily scrap this code here and instead say node.remove all actions. Stop doing whatever work could be happening to this node right now. If the node name is enemy, then clear the node's name, so it's an empty string, and we want to subtract a life from the player. We haven't written code for that yet, so temporarily I'll add a function here saying func subtract life, an empty method. We'll just call inside here subtract life and fill it in later on. And then we can say node.remove from parent, and then active enemies dot remove at that current index, like that. Else, if the node name is bomb container, then again clear the name, remove it from its parent, and remove it from the active enemies array. Like that. Now you should see that node name empty string, node remove from parent, and active enemies remover index, they are the same across both our cases, if it's enemy or bomb container, except for enemies we call subtract life. So if you miss a penguin, you lose 1 life. If you swipe a bomb, you lose all your lives. Or at least you would if our project actually had any code inside subtract life and end game.